Okay, so I have some great news, but before we do that, we've got to get through the introduction. So, hey guys, this is day number 5 of living on $100 here in Ukraine. You can see that we have $51 left. But now that that's out of the way, I know what we're going to be doing for season 3. We are going to Georgia. And if you think that that means that I'm going to the United States, then you probably also think that Wales is a group of fish and Hungary is a thing that you haven't eaten in a while. No, we are going to the country Georgia. Georgia is incredibly cheap, so that's great. But the thing that I noticed last night is that their visa stay lasts for 365 days. But to understand why that is so important, let's compare that to other countries, like Germany. If I wanted to go to Germany, I could stay there for 90 days before they kick me out. If I wanted to go to Thailand, I could stay there for 45 days. If I wanted to go to Poland, 90 days. Here in Ukraine, 90 days. The reason that Georgia is so attractive is because I can actually get an apartment there. I can stay there for an entire year. I can get an apartment, I can get utility bills, I can actually settle down. And then if I want to reset the counter, I just walk across the border to Albania and then walk back. That's why I couldn't live in Poland, is because none of the apartments that I wanted to rent would let me rent for 90 days. They wanted at least a 6-month lease. At least that's what I'm going through in my head right now. We still have a lot of logistics that we need to do. We need to get trains and plane tickets and we need to find an apartment, but that's what I'm working toward right now. Oh, by the way, I woke up with a super sore throat, so don't drink the tap water, don't put it in your cereal, don't do any of that. The tap water here is not good. Now we go back to the regularly scheduled programming where I buy lots of food because somebody ate all of my eggs. So I got 2 Asiago loaves of bread, I got a little Danish thing, I got a croissant filled with chocolate pudding, and I got a Diet Coke. This was $1.85. But let's be real here. Watching me eat a loaf of bread is probably more enjoyable than watching me stick water in my cereal, so. I was doing that as a joke. I didn't think I would actually get sick from it. I feel real stupid. I did do that a lot when I was a kid, though. To stick water in your cereal when you don't have milk. I'm like, it's actually not as bad as people make it think. Like, it's fine, aside from, you know, Ukrainian water. I'm out here walking around before I decide to go get coffee and work. And honestly, I just miss Mexico right now. All of the pastel colors and the yellows. And back a couple years ago, I went to Mexico with my now ex-girlfriend. It was just like a Christmas vacation type thing. We went for 2 weeks. I had no idea what I was doing. We had no plans. We ended up staying in the hotel for most of the day because it was just ill-prepared. Like everything you guys have seen me do up to this point, except I had less experience. So it didn't go very well, but I miss that. I miss Mexico. I miss that simplicity, that kind of naivete that comes from being in a new place without knowing what to do. It kind of sucks that I'm getting better at this travel thing because it means that I'm getting that feeling less often, that kind of wanderlust when you get into a new place. I just want you to remember that if you've ever thought that it would be a fun time to come traveling with me, if you've ever watched my videos and thought, I want to go visit countries with Nate, I promise you don't, because I don't prepare for things very well, and that's fine with me. I'm able to shrug that kind of stuff off. If I miss my plane, if I can't find a printer, it's whatever. But if I've got somebody else with me that's dependent on me getting things right, they're going to have a very, very bad time. Like, I don't think there are many other people in the world that can do what I do with the kind of nonchalance that I approach life with. Then again, if I am traveling with somebody, they might actually help complement my weaknesses. They might help me prepare for things better rather than just exacerbating the faults that I already have. So maybe finding a travel partner would be a good idea. Look at this. I was just walking around and I happened to find a little outdoor gym. Just a sec. Let me see if I can show you something. So I'm not even sure if you guys can hear me right now. Like, I'm not sure what the audio quality is, but let me see if I can still do some of this stuff. I used to be much better at those kind of calisthenic tricks. I just haven't practiced in years. So now that we are back in the main part of the city, do you guys want to see something interesting about Ukraine? I want you to think about how cell phone plans are sold in America. You might walk into like a T-Mobile, you might be able to get a SIM card at like Walmart, but I'm going to show you something real interesting here. Here they set up kiosks and they have people outside working trying to sell you phones on the side of the street. It's kind of like how if you go to Mexico, they'll try to sell you like a hammock or something, except it's an entire phone plan with like data and call minutes. I'm making a TikTok right now, but rather than just leaving it on TikTok, I'm going to show you guys what I'm doing. Here's a fun little photography tutorial for you. We're going to come over here and we're going to look at the scene. You can see that this thing is way out of focus. But if we come over here to try to turn this lens, we're going to turn this. You can see that these red lines start to appear. You see that? That is a trick that your camera does to try to show you what's in focus without needing to zoom in. So if I want to get a perfectly clean shot of that fence, I can tell that this is perfectly focused because of those red lines. All professional cameras should be able to do this. It's called peaking, and it's super nifty. I just posted that exact same video to TikTok because we're trying to grow that account because we want money. You can see that the account right now has 2 followers and about 1,000 views. So we're growing. Not very fast, but we're growing. Another rule for this TikTok account is that I'm never going to show my face in the videos because I still feel like that's not very fair. There was somebody in the comments of the last video saying that I should also change my voice. That's too far. I'm not going to do that. I just won't actually show my face in the videos. So keep that in mind. This coffee was $2.20, which is way expensive. However, now that I'm at the coffee shop, we need to start looking for plane tickets. We need to start looking for train tickets. We need to do all of the things. So once the series is over, we can just jump right into Georgia without having like a 2-week waiting period trying to get into the country. So let's go look for planes, trains, and apartments. The town that we are in right now is called Lviv. And Lviv is not the biggest city in Ukraine, so the airport here is actually going to be a lot more expensive than it would be if we just take a train to the capital city and then fly out from there. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look for a train or a bus to Kiev. Then once we are in Kiev, we are going to fly into Georgia. We can see that a flight from Kiev to Georgia is going for about $50 right now, which is fantastic. We just need to get a train to get there. Okay, so that means that a train to get there is going to cost about $25. If we factor in the cost of the flight, that's maybe $55. So we're looking at about $100 to get to Georgia from where we are currently. I'm not going to purchase any of those things during the season because that goes against the spirit of this. But as soon as the season is over, I'm going to purchase all of these things. Then we'll fly out of here on like October 25th-ish and get there by November. Hopefully it's warmer there because it's getting real cold in Ukraine. For dinner, I got one of those little Turkish burrito things. I think it's called a kebab or a shawarma. I don't know. I also got a Pepsi. This was $3.72. Oh my God. This is really good. Can I talk to you guys for a second? Yeah, you, the viewer, the person watching this YouTube video. If you go to any of my previous comments in my videos, you'll see a lot of people asking me to go to free tourist attractions and statues, and they want to see the city. They want to see things that tourists see. So, let's talk. I am not a travel vlogger. I'm going to say that again just for the people in the back. I am not a travel vlogger. I'm a software engineer trying to start a company, doing everything I can to extend my company's runtime. And that means that I travel places. I travel places that are cheap. So there is some overlap. I do travel. But going to statues isn't a priority for me. Visiting old buildings isn't something that I'm going to take time out of working on my company to go do. So you guys can see the city. Like if I'm out walking about and I see something interesting, I'll show you. But I'm not going to explicitly stop working on my company so that I can go visit a 100-year-old building just to show you guys in a YouTube video. Like that's not a priority for me. If you guys want to see travel vloggers, if you want to see what the city looks like, there are other channels for that, like Bald and Bankrupt. I hear he's pretty good. But that's not what I'm focusing on. I'm focusing on the cheapest way you can possibly live. I will talk about what the Wi-Fi speeds in a cafe are. I will talk about what the hostels look like. That's the kind of content that you'll see on this channel. I'm actually on my tablet right now looking at what the prices of apartments in Georgia, the capital Tbilisi, I don't know how to pronounce it, it's Tbilisi. I'm looking at what the prices of apartments in Georgia are right now, and it looks like the average apartment in the downtown is like $250 a month, maybe $300. I can easily do $300 a month just with my TikTok, not accounting for YouTube or sponsorships or promotions or anything. So I can definitely live in Georgia basically indefinitely. As long as I keep making videos, I can do that. I did, however, have to book another night at the hostel, so that's another $5.73 out of the budget. See that here? But that is the end of day 5, which means that we have $37.54 less, averaging about $12.49 per day. I think that we're going to beat Poland. I think that we're going to beat Poland. But I can't justify getting food, like going to a grocery store anymore, knowing that it's just going to get eaten the next day. So I might need to think about it. Maybe I just need to hide my food better. That seems kind of stingy. I don't know. But I just want to remind you guys, you can click on this card right here if you want to see the previous day, and you can click on this card right here if you want to see the next day, so you guys can just like scrub between all of the days.